about what he makes of this appointment. And good morning, Mr. Subramaniam. Thanks for joining us so early in the morning. Give us your first thoughts on what you make of this appointment, because as we understand, a lot of other people were in the race to become SEBI chair, the likes of Ajay Seth. You had Pankaj Jain, Debashish Panda. Give us your initial thoughts right off the bat. What are you making of this appointment?
Good morning. I think this is a good move. Basically, it brings in a person with a clean image who has, I would think, the confidence of the bureaucracy and the politicians and the government in New Delhi. And so from that perspective, it's a very good move. Let us see, the government also has set a target to disinvest some of the stakes in the public sector enterprises. Two is, since Tuhin Pandey is supposed to be a stickler for rules, I would think that there will be more focus on enforcement of current regulations and stricter, I would think, this is on the market participants. So, because there are a lot of violations now, given the bull markets, etc. So, one has to see that there will be greater enforcement actions, I would expect.
Okay, and just extending that thought, given his previous roles in the government, how do you think Pandey's background will now influence SEBI's regulatory approach? What changes or what differences in style could we see compared to the previous chair, Madhvi Puri Booch? Or if you could just draw a comparison between how you expect to see a difference in the influence that they will cause when it comes to SEBI's regulatory approach?
I hope there will not be any dramatic changes. Definitely, given that all the industry bodies would have had access to him, I think from that perspective, I would think at least corporate India should be happy, or at least should be reconciled to the fact that he will continue whatever changes SEBI has brought about under Madhvi Booch. So I think that is good, because it's not that he's going to be a bull in a china shop kind of a person who is going to rock the boat or anything. Continue the good this one regulations that SEBI brought in. There were a number of changes that SEBI has recently brought in, including T+1 kind of this one from a broking perspective, including financial inclusion, bringing in more REITs and smaller ticket sizes for mutual funds, etc. So there were a lot of positives. We just continue the positives. But of course, he knows the fact that many industry participants like foreign portfolio investors were quite annoyed with the I would think the increase in short-term capital gains and are slightly unhappy. So maybe hearing out all market participants on the taxes, etc., maybe his influence would extend to the finance ministry and probably assuage some of these. So we've got to see how that linkage helps in the taxes that are collected, because at one end the STT was imposed, that is the securities transaction tax was imposed, saying that because there was no long-term capital gains in the UPA regime. But then now we have long-term capital gains and short-term capital gains and STT being collected. So this is something that market participants have been very unhappy with. I hope he listens to the market participants and goes back to the finance ministry with some suggestions on how this can be countered.
Okay, and lastly, Mr. Subramaniam, before we let you go, could you tell us what are the most pressing challenges SEBI is facing right now? How do you think Pandey will be able to tackle them? And more importantly, how important is the timing of this appointment given the light of the current market conditions?
There is no very pressing thing. I think the fact that in the last 3-4 years there have been a new set of investors who have come in, retail investors, so to say, and their money in the market has increased. How to retain their trust and how to ensure that there are no scams of a bigger order. As of now, there is smaller companies taking investors for AI. But there is no big blowout kind of scenario. I think that would be something to watch out for. And two is the fact that timing-wise, it's fine. I mean, the markets are very bullish. I think still the economy is doing well. Obviously, corporate growth has slowed down a bit, but I don't think Tuhin Kanta can do something about it from a perspective. But reassuring investors, continuing the path that Madhvi Buch has set out, I think those are the important things.
Okay, Mr. Subramaniam, on that note, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us bright and early this morning and helping us put into perspective what this appointment could mean. Well, on that.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.